Good morning, it's Norma Cowie. It's 9 o'clock on a Wednesday, and I'm here for Norma Talks. Today, being the 31st of July, I'm taking a look at what I see in the tarot reading that I've done for the month of August. No use waiting for next week because we'll be halfway through everything. So here we are. I've got it well laid out in front of me, and I'm not doing what I was attempting to do, which wasn't working and was frustrating me. I'm going to go card by card so that you can see it and you can begin to see how the symbols work into one another, how they correlate. Now, the first one that came up didn't surprise me at all. It was the Five of Wands, confusion, uncertainty, all sorts of things going on around. But you might notice there's basically none of these, if I remember right. Let me just take a look. Yeah. Excuse me. Is that none of these actually touch the ground. So it's like all the ideas and all the things going around and round and round and round. What about this? And maybe this, and perhaps we do this, and maybe that. And that just shows there's a lot of confusion happening. And, if you've watched me on the other shows I do, you'll see I'm a bit of an Olympics nut. So I've been watching a lot of that to the point I had to stop a little bit so I could get some sleep. But anyway, so the two main things I really, really like, the swimming and the track and field, which haven't come up yet. But the interesting thing, and why I'm talking about this, is because a lot of the things that have gone on around, also there's been lots of changes have happened, countries that have not had a gold medal or something like that. So I've tried to keep up a little bit with that, but not always. So, but out in the world, confusion. Now, usually, symbols run related, 1 to about 3 days or so, because we have 9 and we have 30 days, so approximately. The next symbol that came up was the King of Pentacles, someone in command, someone really knows what they're doing. Pinnacle always remains the material world, the money world, the world that we can see and touch, not the ideas like in here where we've got this Five of Wands every going which way. No one knows really what's going on. I want to say by the 3rd, even the 4th of August, something or someone takes a certain amount of command here. That could be just somebody who comes out and says, this is what we need to do, or this is what's happening, or whatever. But also, because there's a little bit of money stuff throughout the reading here, I think also regarding the money play, what's going on, and all the changes that are happening in the banking world. I don't know about you, but for me, it seems like I get an email or something coming in and it's got a different change. I went to the bank exchange the other day where I just get some dollars out, and it was a brand new type, and I had to sit there and think for a minute, how do I get in? How do I put my card in? So things are changing in the money world. Things are changing. Things are coming down the turnpike. I heard some thoughts about what might be happening, and where you've got to sign up for this or go along with this, all the things which, of course, I don't really believe in or want to go along with. So, and it's almost like if you don't do this, you won't get paid, which is very much a blackmail thing. But anyway, I'm not here for politicalness. I'm here for metaphysics. So this here, though, tells me that somebody somewhere, or a group, it could be a group, but I think it's a person, will take command in some ways and begin to dictate, and they won't feel like they're dictating, but they're going to just say, this is how it needs to be, or this is how it's going to go, or this is how it should go. So there'll be a lot of that. And I think that's going to take us probably good to the 5th, 6th, even the 7th, but I think the 7th, this next card will kind of move into then really well. So someone's going to come out with a loud voice in some ways. So there'll be a sense. So the next symbol that came up is the Four of Swords. This is where we go inside. This is where we figure things out. So you've got one person saying, hey, this is how it needs to be. So now we all have to go inside and figure out what are we going to do with this? How are we going to do that? How are we going to come through? And so it's a little bit of time out in a way. And so what we're looking here is like we're kind of coming up more to the 7th, 8th, maybe even into the 9th. This has a lot to do with reflection, has a lot to do with going inside, not too much communication externally. It's like every person coming to their own idea and their own awareness of which way they're going in and where they're heading and what they're becoming. So as we start moving into the double-digit dates, what do we run into? Because we've had the King of Pentacles. I'll come back to a little bit of that a little bit later, but this is the King of Swords. Now, there's a couple of things I like about the King of Swords. There's no dicking around. It's like, this is how it is. They have some confusion, yes, but it's like very much like this is the way. And where we see the King of Pentacles might be saying, this is how it is. This is what we should be doing. This is really is where things come down and say, okay, this is how it's going to be. Swords are problems and challenges, meaning in a way of how we're doing this. The one thing I like about this king is he's very logical, very logical. There's hardly any emotion in here. And the one thing, if you really ever look at this symbol up here, I'm just make sure I get my fingers on the right side. There are two birds. Two birds is the number 2. There's a decision here. There's a decision that needs to be made. And actually, one of the things that comes up throughout the court cards, this is what we call a court card, is birds in the sky and what they form and what they say. And this here is that they're here, there's a decision, but this is very strict. This is how it, again, even more strict than the King of Pentacles, which just says, hey, this is how it's going to be. This is how it is. So very different. So we've got some very strong players coming out through this beginning part of August. Had to think for a minute where I was in the year. So I want us to take us kind of through to the end of the teen month, 10 days, months, days. Do I ever know what that is? Anyway, this is the 8 of Pentacles, money again. Life, working away, showing, this is the workman who's showing his wares actually in front of his town. And it's about getting on with things. So nothing in the symbology so far has signified getting on with things. Dictates, yes. This is how it is, yes. This is what we should be doing, yes. But now here we have, okay, let's have a way in which this works. So there's a little bit of movement, finally, instead of just all in the head, trying to figure it all out, trying to sort out if, ands, and buts. So there's movement here. There's a creation of this is what we need to do in relation to where we are. And so that kind of brings us up to through our beginning of our 20s. That symbol, the 8 of Pentacles, will kind of bridge from the teen numbers into the 20s. Then what do we come again? The Emperor. Now I'm going to show you something. In a way, I've got a light on here. I'm going to turn off because it's reflecting right. There we go. We can see this probably a little easier. This is the card that comes up for as we move into the 20s, like 20 up to around 22, 3 for sure. 20, yeah, 21, 22. Very decisive. This is the way it is. And they use experience. In the experience of the past, this is how we've done. It's not that and I'm trying to figure out where to put things here. It's not unsimilar to the King of Swords. Not unsimilar. This is very stubborn. If I'm doing a reading for a person, this usually means you're stubborn. You don't want to hear. You don't want to know. This is how it is. This is what we're going to do. And that this guy's the same way. So I feel that there's a lot of dictates coming down, and it's like they don't want to hear. But As we move into the middle 20s, I think 21 to about 20, even 4, what begins to happen is that everybody becomes into an alignment with this 10 of cups. 10 of cups is like it's like now whatever was dictated in the early part of this month of August of how it's supposed to be or how it's to come down. And I wouldn't be surprised to see if this is really in the banking system, because to me they've already started that. But this one here is where everybody rejoices and said, yeah, we found the answer. This is really good. Okay, now we don't, so there's none of this rigidity. It's about acceptance and experience of, yay, life's good. It's all figured out. It's all taken care of. And so as we head towards the end, so we've got another one symbol here. So some of these dates might be a bit jumbled, but what do we have here? The Ace of Pentacles, new beginnings, material beginnings. We've got we've got 2 symbols in here that talk about monies and things. And now all of a sudden, everything is a-okay. Everything is working. Everything is coming into where we want to be. So I just think in the last days of the 20s of August, we get to know a lot more, and we don't have the reactions, or we don't have the hard line coming in, and everyone begins to think, yay, 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 this is good. The 30th and the 31st comes along just before September hits, a full month, right? What do we got here? We've got a hierarchy, the second hierarchy, because the Emperor is the first one. The Wheel of Fortune. It's funny because the Wheel of Fortune has come up for a number of people in one of my other things I do, the mental mind treatments, and I've had to kind of explain that a little bit, is that it's like, what's the hub of the wheel in here? And I'll use it with the hand, I can move around better. The hub of the wheel goes around, and you have these 3, which I won't go into today, but you've got 4 fixed signs in clouds. So it covers everything. Where does it go? It's like throwing the dice. Where does it roll? Where does it roll? Where does it go? Notice I've never really thrown dice, but we do know by movies how that works. We rub them in our hands and we throw them out, and however it lands. I just think this is the beginning of quite a bit of chaos. I think as we look at this month coming through, just a minute here, as we look at this month of August, I feel it's almost a transition month, but it doesn't show like a transition month, but I feel that it is. I think in the beginning part of this month, there's a lot of reaction, a lot of people in the know, or people in control or power, whatever you want to call that, are saying this is how it is. Some of them benign, kind of just, yeah, this is how it is. And the others more direct. This is how it's going to be. And so then there's the reaction. There's some that'll get on board and go through with it, and they'll be really good with it and feel excellent. And then this Emperor sitting where it is, that's the stubbornness in us. That is saying that I know the way, I know how it goes, I know where it ends up, I know where it all is, and what follows it. Everything is fine. Everything is great. There's a new beginning. Everything is open. And then right at the end, the good old Wheel of Fortune comes in and says, no, this is just beginning. This is a whole new ball of wax. You have no idea what's coming. And I don't. I just know that I'm looking at that and I'm going, that at the point I'm looking at it is not moving, but it's going to move. See, I always look when this comes up in a reading for somebody, I always look to see how it's moving. And if any of one of the 4 fixed signs comes out at me, what is actually going on here? And I look at this here following the Ace of Pentacles, which was right at the end of August. I think we're in for an interesting September. I think September will be fine. Now, we don't have, some of us, like in Canada, we have an election somewhere in there, and I haven't been following the dates too much. I know there's an election coming up here. I know the US, and this is always about North America. So we've got 2 different societies in here. And that, I do know that definitely in the US in November, they have a big one and things are all up in the air there too. So it's like that we start with this everything up in the air and we end up with everything up in the air. There's no grounding. There's no grounding in either of these two symbols. From the 1st of August to the end of August, which is the 31st, there's very little. There's a lot of, when it comes to the grounding in this reading here, there's a lot of, what do you say, taking stands. We've got 3 symbols here that are similar. We've got 2 attitudes. Attitudes is how you react the most often. We've got the King of Pentacles, and we've got the King of Swords. Both symbols very much, this is the way it is. This is how it is. King, which my hand have I got it in? The King of Swords in particular is like that. So you've got 2 what we call attitude cards coming up through there. Very much, where did I put that symbol down? I put something, oh, this one, I picked it up, put it in the wrong place. It's very much like, I still see these people coming out saying this is the way it is and this is how it should be. And so people kind of go along with that. But I also see newness with this, new ideas, new projections, new awareness. The Ace of Pentacles always brings newness into the life in a material way, and meaning a way that you can see, feel, and touch it, and aware. It's just not enough. It's like in here, you have ideas. That's all, and nothing is grounded in there. The beginning, the next few days, you're going to hear all sorts of things. I think, and nothing is grounded. Here is something is being presented, and that's because these guys up here, the two kings, will stipulate that, will bring that forward. But, and I'm just moving these around a little bit down here, I'm concerned regarding the good old emperor. He's got a beard, white beard. He's been around a long time. He's got on his legs, he's got these guards, in other words, he's fought the battle of life. He's been around a few times. Can't get up from that chair very well because he's got his hands full. And as you get older, as I know, it's harder to get up from a sitting position without help. When you're young, you just bounce over to the chair. It's no problem at all. But as you get older, so he's sitting there with 2 things in his hands. He's not going to get up. Now, this is the god of war. So he doesn't want war. Because he don't get up, he's not going to go get it. And I don't think this is about war. I think this is about how you're supposed to be, how you're supposed to live, what you're supposed to do, how how much freedom do you have or how much do you not? Especially where money is concerned. I really sense the money element because of these 2 symbols that talk about money. Now, they can talk about other things because they talk about the material affairs of life, the way life works. But how does our life work? Is money. And if you are aware of anything, you're aware of the chatter that's going on, changing the whole money system, changing all that. And again, I'm going to talk to my age group, is that we have a little bit of difficulty adjusting to some of that. We didn't grow up with all this technology. We didn't grow up with, things can change like that. I go and see, I get used to my old bank machine and now I've got a brand new one and I'm trying to figure out what to do. There's a lot of people that are not technology aware. And yet we're told this is what you need to do. I always have worked with, now this is a little example and it sounds maybe weird, but I've always worked with paper, when I get from my bank statement so I can figure everything out. Well, they want me to bring it through my computer and, run it out and do that, but it doesn't feel the same. Now, okay, I know I'm a feeler and I know that I'm introduced into certain things, but it just doesn't seem the same. So I always ignore their emails. I noticed this last one I got, which actually happened to be this morning. I went, there's going to be a little bit more coming down the turnpike on this pretty soon. They're going to say, we're not going to send them out. Even though I pay money for them to send them out, they're going to say, no, you've got to download it. Doesn't feel the same. It's a nice big thick piece of paper with all the printing in there, everything. So, but that's habit, you see. We get into habits, and I certainly am a habitual person to a large degree. But change. Yeah, change. Wheel of Fortune. Change, change, change. On the four corners of this symbol are the four fixed signs, astrology signs. Around here, we've got symbology about snakes and demons and sphinxes with a, like, in other words, there's lots here that you can really, actually can spend a long time figuring this symbol out. All the four fixed signs are in clouds, which means up in the, but they kind of hold this symbol in place. And then there's words and some Jewish glyphics in there, which say Yod He Vov He, God. Life is changing. So as we go to leave August and head into fall in September, I'm going to say, be ready. You'll hear what I'll be interested to see what September shows, actually. I will be ready to hear and see, because the mumblings, as you say, are showing up in August. And they've been coming. If you followed the months that have gone through, there's been a lot of money stuff up and there's been a lot of uncertainty. But I really feel this is congealing now. It's becoming more solid, more. And again, I get the word dictatorial. It's like you're told this is what you do. So freedoms maybe not as much, especially when it comes to economics or other elements that affect your freedom or your sense of where you're at and where you're going. We can dream and we can hope for whatever, and we need to, for whatever we want, which is what this 10 of Cups always presents. This is being able to deal with everything that's there, happy as a family. It's all there for us. But that wasn't the end symbol for the month. This was change. And always with this symbol, I say to people, wherever I teach about this, wherever I talk about this, become like the hub of the wheel. Whatever's going around, let it go around you. Don't get stuck. Don't get stuck. So that's what we have for this month. And I've taken time this time just to talk about them. The symbology. Put them back here, and I'll put them back with my rest of the symbology. Because it helps sometimes to be aware of what you're going to be confronting. What is going to happen? I will be looking, interestingly, actually, to see who this person is going to come out and say, this is what we need to do. The Olympics are still going on I think they go for another approximate week. I'm not sure. I think so. Because we haven't done any track and field yet. So there's a lot of, here we have this place where all these people have come to test against each other. I'm a jock. I was a jock as a kid, and I love sports, and I love watching them, and I know how it feels to win and not win. And I know all that, went through all that when I was young. Now, but also I was a dancer at the same time. Can you believe that? And I danced as well. Both ends of the street there for a while. Then I had to go to work. Life changed. Yes, haven't been the same since, but that's okay. I want you to just be aware this month. And I think, like, when I say this month that's coming up, August, and just be aware and notice when dictates arrive and how they arrive. I don't think the real heavy ones will come quite early in the month. I think they'll come more towards the middle. And I think then it'll be like we don't have an excuse, or we don't have a reason or something. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens. So keep me apprised what you think, especially as we go through. And also just know that I will be back for Sunday Thought. I will be back for Monday night's mental mind treatments. I want to thank Maggie G, and who gave me thumbs up, which thank you. I need that. And to Khalid. Thank you again for your wonderful supportive comments. I appreciate those. And so with that, I'm going to say goodbye for today. This will be the last one in July. So as you know, I had my birthday, and I'll say one thing. Yesterday, I heard that my second husband had passed, and it was the date of my first husband, long father of my children's birthday, and he passed last year. And now my second husband, who had dementia, so I wasn't really in touch with him, but I got a phone call saying late yesterday, that he had passed as well. So things change, and sometimes it's sad, and sometimes it's like, well, that's another phase that is gone. But that's what I love about the tarot, because it's always had my back. It's always given me what I needed to know, what I needed to do, what I needed to be. And sometimes I didn't like it, but I've always found it to be very accurate in supporting me and for everything. And I also want to thank the people who have given me thumbs up. Thank you so much. You have a great day. And also, one more thing, saying I got a little bit more time here. I want to thank the people who may not be watching this, but for the recent subscribers that have come in. We're climbing really well, and I really want to thank that. I appreciate that. I appreciate your comments. I endeavor to at least twice a week to go in and answer your comments through YouTube. But really, this is really great. So, bless you. Have a great day, and we shall see you Sunday. Bye.